Hello friends, this is Kavita. Welcome back to my channel. And as we had discussed in our previous video, we will continue with those reactions of alcohols. In today's video, I am going to start with the second reactions of alcohols, that is involving the cleavage of carbon-oxygen bond. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, do subscribe and do not forget to hit the bell notification so that you can get the updates of the latest videos. The best way of using my videos would be to sit with a notebook and write down the reactions whichever I am doing by pausing the video. If you have any queries related to the video, kindly comment in the comment box. Do get in touch and thank you for all the subscribers. Let's get started with the video, friends. So as we had discussed in our previous video, we had three types of reactions of alcohols. The first reactions were the ones in which the oxygen-hydrogen bond will break. There we talked about the acidity of alcohols. Then we talked about the esterification of alcohols. In esterification, we had seen there were three acylating agents: carboxylic acids, acid anhydrides, and acid chlorides. So you may watch those videos to revise. The order of reactivity of alcohols in the case of first reactions was primary alcohols are the fastest to react and tertiary are the slowest to react. Let's talk about now the second type of reactions. Now in second type of reactions, what we will do is we will take any alcohol and react it with any of these three halogenating agents like PCl3. Okay. Now what will happen here, as we are seeing, the carbon-oxygen bond is going to break and the halogen will get substituted at the place of OH. So we will be having the products CH3CH2Cl. The OH will be coming out of this and we are going to balance this equation 3 times because 3 chlorine atoms we are getting from here. The 3 chlorine atoms have substituted the 3 OH from this molecule and the P is coming out from here and the 3 OH are coming out from there, that is phosphoric acid. This was your first reaction. Let's go to the second reaction. If you take an alcohol like methanol and react it with PCl5, phosphorus pentachloride, you will again do the same thing, break the OH bond, the carbon-oxygen bond and put the halogen over there, CH3Cl. And what are the byproducts coming out here? POCl3, that is phosphorus oxychloride plus hydrochloric acid. So these reactions are those in which the carbon-oxygen bond is breaking. So in exam you can have a question, give an example of a reaction of alcohols in which carbon-oxygen bond breaks. So we are going to write these two reactions. Same way you can have a reaction with SOCl2 also. If I take SOCl2 with this ethyl alcohol, the same reaction will be shown, and here now we don't have to put 3 times CH3 CH2Cl, and the byproducts are sulfur dioxide gas, hydrochloric acid gas. These two are gases, hence this method is the best method for the preparation of haloalkanes from alcohols. We already discussed this point in our chapter alcohols. Children, please remember this is an important question for your board exam. Let us go to the second test, which is called as Lucas test. In Lucas test, the reagent chosen by us is concentrated HCl and anhydrous zinc chloride. The carbon-oxygen bond will break and the Cl minus nucleophile will substitute the OH minus nucleophile from here. So it is a nucleophilic substitution reaction. The product is RCl plus H2O. Now RCl is going to be coming out of the test tube in the form of a precipitate which can be called as turbidity or sometimes cloudiness also. Why is RCl appearing in the form of a precipitate? Because it's not soluble in Lucas reagent. This is Lucas reagent. And as we all know, the order of reactivity of alcohols is tertiary are the fastest to react in these reactions because they form the most stable carbocation. And during this reaction, carbocation is formed. Let us have a look at the mechanism. In the first step, we are going to take the H plus from HCl and protonate our alcohol. As a consequence, we get protonated alcohol. Protonated alcohol will now act as an electron deficient species. It's an electrophile. And now, right now, in the second step, the Cl minus can attack it. Now before this, what happens is the carbocation gets formed. So this protonated alcohol breaks down and you get R plus and water. Now this carbocation is going to be very, very stable for a tertiary. Hence tertiary alcohols will be the fastest to react by this mechanism. In the next step, the Cl minus will attack the R plus and you will get the product RCl. Now in this case, what we saw is that this particular step is going to be my slowest step and the rate determining step. Alright, so the protonated alcohol breaks down to give you carbocation. Now who's going to do this fast? We have discussed tertiary alcohols. Even the secondary alcohols will not mind going this step because secondary and tertiary carbocations are quite stable. Since one molecule is participating in this step, this is going to be called as SN1 reaction. So secondary and tertiary alcohols will undergo Lucas test by SN1 mechanism. But if it is a primary alcohol, children, please remember, it will not break down to give you the carbocation. So what's going to happen in the case of primary? Simultaneous attack of the nucleophile will take place and simultaneous bond will break. So we are definitely going to get RCl plus water here also, but here this becomes the slow step and it becomes SN2 because two molecules are participating in the rate determining step. So please remember, if it is secondary or tertiary, the mechanism will be SN1 via the formation of a stable carbocation, and if it is primary alcohol, it's going to be SN2 without any intermediate being formed. And as we have discussed, primary, secondary, tertiary, the tertiary are so reactive and even primary are secondary are so reactive that they do not require any catalyst also for the reaction to take place. But in the case of primary being so less reactive, we need to use ZnCl2 as the catalyst. Whereas in these two, even if we don't use ZnCl2, the reaction is going to take place quite speedily. Now in exam, how are we going to write this answer? Lucas test is one of the distinguishing tests used to distinguish between primary, secondary, tertiary alcohols. Tertiary alcohols react speedily with Lucas reagent to give you instant precipitate, instant turbidity. Secondary alcohols a little bit less reactive, so they react with Lucas reagent and give you precipitate after some time. So the precipitate or turbidity is not obtained instantly, but it is obtained after some time. And primary alcohols, they react with Lucas reagent only upon heating to give turbidity because they are so least reactive that they will require activation energy for the reaction to take place. So the observation is turbidity after heating. So easily one can distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols in the chemistry lab when you go by taking Lucas reagent and add to all the three test tubes containing primary, secondary, tertiary. Tertiary gives you quick answers, secondary gives you answer after some time, primary will not give you any precipitate until you heat the test tube. Time to discuss a very important reaction now, dehydration. The meaning of dehydration every child knows is removal of water. Let us take excellent example to explain you this point. If I take an alcohol and I heat it for a very long time, I just boil it, so definitely water will come out. I will accelerate this reaction by adding a very strong dehydrating agent like concentrated H2SO4, which is going to remove the water. So dehydration of alcohols can be achieved by using dehydrating agents like phosphoric acid, sulfuric acid, alumina, etc. We are going to remember sulfuric acid for our exam. Now children, the most important point to remember over here for exam is that the temperature plays a vital role to decide the type of products being formed. You have to remember these temperatures. If the dehydration is carried out at very low temperatures, then you will get elimination, you will get substitution, and the product will be an ether. So what do you see here? Two molecules I have used. Two molecules condensed together and they lost the water molecules. So it's going to be a bimolecular reaction. Alright, so it is going to be a nucleophilic substitution reaction bimolecular. We'll discuss the mechanism later on. And if you heat alcohol at a very higher temperatures of 443 Kelvin, then the hydrogen and the OH from the same molecule will be going out via beta elimination. So here we will be seeing that the beta hydrogen goes out and the product would be CH2 because we've removed the OH, we have removed the H, so we get a double bond here and we get water. So you can see that this is completely different product. This one was substitution product at 413 Kelvin. This is going to be elimination product at 443 Kelvin. The mechanism will be asked in the board exams for 2 marks. Let's discuss the mechanism. So here we must remember that the temperature is 443 Kelvin because at 413 Kelvin ethers are formed. The first step is formation of protonated alcohol. Take the alcohol which is given, add concentrated H2SO4 few drops. Alcohols will act as a Lewis base and attract the protons towards themselves. So what you get is protonated alcohol. CH3, CH2, OH, 2+. Okay, this is now known as ethyl oxonium ion. This is the way we are going to write down in exam. Whatever alcohol you have got, that alcohol's name, propyl oxonium ion, isopropyl oxonium ion, pentyl oxonium ion, and so on. The second step, now you can see that oxygen is very unstable with a positive sign on it because it's an electronegative atom. How can it have a positive sign? So you must get rid of this positive sign. How do you do that? By forming a carbocation. Now who's going to form a carbocation at the greatest speed? As we all know, tertiary. So what's going to happen here is the molecule will break down like this and water comes out and ethyl carbocation is formed. In the third step, we have deprotonation where the ethyl carbocation releases its proton from the adjacent carbon atom and we get alkene as the major product. So at 443 Kelvin we get alkenes, but at 413 Kelvin we get ethers. Now how do we get ethers at 413 Kelvin? Let me explain you the mechanism for that. Now in case of ethers at 413 Kelvin, the second step will be different. In the second step, the protonated alcohol will be attacked by another molecule of alcohol at the carbon atom. So it's going to be nucleophilic substitution reaction where two molecules are participating. So SN2 and the bond breaks. So here the product would be CH3, CH2, oxygen. Now remember, oxygen is attacking, so this hydrogen has to be removed now. So we are not going to write this hydrogen over here because it has gone out as a proton. Then a bond CH2, CH3. So look at this. We have got diethyl ether, temperature 413 Kelvin. So the mechanism is going to be totally different at both the temperatures. If you do it at higher temperatures, you have substitution, elimination reaction. If you do at lower temperature, you have substitution reaction. So does temperature play any role in deciding the types of products being formed? The answer is a big yes. Low temperature can give you ethers and high temperature can give you alkenes. So children, I'm sure you have understood this particular point. So that's all from this video, friends, and I think so you must have understood this. We will continue with the lectures in the next coming videos. Thank you for subscribing. Keep watching. Take care.